It's springtime. It's that time of year when we start to look forward to a really, really hot summer that's going to be coming in a few months. Fingers crossed. We do live in England after all. But I have been noticing that the sun's been trying to break through the grey skies and rain clouds that come with the unfortunate April showers that we're getting at the moment. I have been hearing the birds sing. I've been seeing daffodils growing, and I'm sure that we're going to have lots of flowers blooming as spring goes on. And we're going to have life breathed into the environment again, which is really nice after the drab, lifeless winter that we've just had. It's no wonder why at this time of year many religions, many cultures celebrate the coming of spring with the birth or even the rebirth of various figures from their stories and their myths and legends. One such character is the pagan goddess Eostre, who's the goddess of the spring equinox, who one day was walking through the forest and saw an injured bird. The bird had broken its wing and wasn't going to live for much longer, so Eostre turned the bird into a rabbit. The transition wasn't complete, and just as the bird laid eggs, the rabbit could lay eggs also. And as a thank you, the rabbit decorated one of its eggs and gave it to Eostre, who was so overjoyed by this that she sent the rabbit around the world to share that joy and give those eggs to everybody. And many people believe that this is the story that has the origins of why we now see the Easter bunny and Easter eggs dotted all over the place. One thing that people don't know about this story, though, is that Eostre got a little bit jealous of this rabbit, of the Easter bunny giving its eggs out to everybody a bit willy-nilly. She thought that he was being a little bit promiscuous with his eggs, and so she abandoned him. She didn't accept him back when he came back after his trips around the world. And when she came across another injured bird in the forest some time later, another bird with a broken wing, she didn't change it into a live animal. She actually changed it into a bag, a bit like this one. I think it was a Scottish tartan bird, but don't get me wrong, it was a really well made bag. If you can see the seam is really nice down the middle there, and again there's a really nice seam down that side, and if we look at carefully we can see that there's no seam across the top, because it's one piece of material that goes all the way round that is joined around the sides. Now what's really nice about this is that it's the same on the inside as it is on the out. But the transition again wasn't complete, and just as the bird could lay eggs, and just as the rabbit could lay eggs, the bag could also lay eggs. And this was to Eostre's dismay. She was reminded of the rabbit that was going around the world giving his eggs to everyone, and so she tried to wrap the egg up in the bag and magically make it disappear, which it did, which was amazing. But unfortunately, it would keep appearing somewhere close to the bag, like at the back of the bag. So she would try again. She would make sure that the egg disappeared, and it did for a while. She would make sure that it wasn't inside the bag, and it wasn't inside the bag. And she would turn it inside out just to keep on making sure and checking. And every once in a while, she'd be going around with a nice new bag. What goddess doesn't like to have a new bag to go around with? But the bag would unfortunately continue laying these eggs. Eventually, she gave in. She gave in to the idea that she was going to have a bag that had an egg in it, and if it was going to lay eggs, why not just keep the egg inside the bag? As you can see, it's inside the bag, and she got used to it being there. Unfortunately, one day it did just disappear, and she was a bit lost without it. She looked inside the bag, and it wasn't there. And she wondered where it had gone. And she came across the rabbit, who she'd abandoned many years ago. And the rabbit said, I'm going to fix it for you. I'm going to make sure that you have that egg back in that bag. So it plucked an invisible egg out of the air and it threw it into the bag and said to Eostre, there you go, put your hand in. And she did, and she was able to pull out the egg again. And that is the story of Eostre, the story that not everybody knows. I hope you have a really great spring and a really great summer, and whatever festival you're celebrating at this time of year, I hope you enjoy it.